Big news has now arrived on Gunners. You want to know all the details, so follow me until the end of the video. But first, if you are in love with Arsenal, show your love and subscribe to THE channel now and turn on notifications. Here we post daily news and behind the scenes of the biggest club in THE Premier League, Arsenal. Thank you.
I'd be happy to help. Here's a more natural, engaging and persuasive English rewrite that reads like a professional football news article. Arsenal shift midfield focus after Premier League rival rejects opening bid. Mikel Arteta's search for a new midfield leader has taken another twist after Arsenal saw an opening offer rejected, potentially pushing the Premier League champions closer to a blockbuster move for Newcastle United star Bruno Guimaraes. Strengthening the midfield remains one of Arsenal's top priorities this summer, and the club has already drawn up an ambitious shortlist featuring several of Europe's most highly rated talents. Among the names linked with a move to the Emirates are Newcastle United duo Bruno Guimaraes and Sandro Tonali, but recent developments suggest Arsenal may now be narrowing its focus. According to BBC Sport, Arsenal submitted an opening bid for Bournemouth midfielder Alex Scott, only for the proposal to be rejected immediately. Bournemouth have reportedly made it clear that the 22-year-old is not for sale and are instead working to tie the England international to a new long-term contract. Scott enjoyed an outstanding Premier League campaign, playing a crucial role in Bournemouth's qualification for European competition. His performances have attracted widespread interest across England, with Manchester City, Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur, and Chelsea all monitoring his situation alongside Arsenal. The former Bristol City midfielder still has 2 years remaining on his current contract, leaving Bournemouth in a strong negotiating position and under little pressure to cash in. With Scott seemingly unavailable, Arsenal could now accelerate their pursuit of Bruno Guimaraes. While the Gunners have also explored the possibility of signing Sandro Tonali, reports suggest Newcastle's valuation of the Italian international is considered too high, making a move difficult to complete during this transfer window. Instead, Arsenal are increasingly viewed as more likely to concentrate their efforts on Guimaraes, despite Newcastle's firm stance that the Brazilian remains a key part of their long-term project. Tottenham Hotspur, meanwhile, are believed to be stepping up their own pursuit of Tonali, with manager Roberto De Zerbi reportedly eager to bring the midfielder into his squad. Arsenal's recruitment team is also keeping a close eye on several emerging talents, including West Ham United's Mateus Fernandes and highly rated Lille youngster Ayab Bouadi, whose recent performances on the international stage have significantly boosted his reputation. However, Guimaraes continues to be regarded as one of Arsenal's dream targets. Reports claim the North London club attempted to test Newcastle's resolve with an offer worth around £45 million, submitted through intermediaries, but the proposal was rejected without hesitation. Newcastle have consistently insisted that the Brazilian international is not available for transfer, and sources close to the club maintain that no formal club-to-club negotiations have taken place. There has also been speculation surrounding a possible release clause in Guimaraes' contract. Reports from Brazil have suggested that a £60 million release clause exists, although Newcastle have repeatedly denied those claims. The midfielder previously had a £100 million release clause, but that provision expired in June 2024 after attracting interest from several elite clubs, including Arsenal and Manchester City. Newcastle manager Eddie Howe has also moved to shut down the growing transfer speculation. Responding to rumors linking his captain with a move away from St James Park, Howe delivered a firm and unmistakable message. To say our captain is in talks with another club is completely disrespectful to Bruno. Above all, Howe said, he is fully committed to this football club. Despite Newcastle's public confidence, Arsenal are expected to remain attentive throughout the remainder of the transfer window. If circumstances change, the Gunners could be ready to act quickly in an effort to secure one of the Premier League's most complete midfielders as Arteta continues shaping a squad capable of defending the league title and competing for Champions League glory. If you'd like, I can also make it sound even more like an article from The Athletic, BBC Sport, or Football, London. Even with Newcastle maintaining their firm public stance, Arsenal are expected to continue monitoring the situation closely. Transfer windows are often unpredictable, and clubs rarely abandon their top targets after an initial setback. The Gunners understand that negotiations involving elite players can evolve quickly, particularly if circumstances change later in the summer. From Arsenal's perspective, Guimaraes offers qualities that are difficult to find in today's market. The Brazilian combines technical ability with relentless work rate, leadership, and Premier League experience, making him an ideal fit for Mikel Arteta's demanding style of play. His ability to dictate the tempo of a match, recover possession, and contribute in the final third has made him one of the league's most complete midfielders over the past few seasons. Those attributes become even more valuable as Arsenal prepare for another campaign in which they will be competing on multiple fronts. Defending the Premier League title while challenging for the UEFA Champions League requires exceptional squad depth, and Arteta has repeatedly emphasized the importance of increasing competition for places across every position. The club's recruitment strategy reflects that ambition. Rather than signing players solely for depth, Arsenal are targeting footballers capable of immediately competing for a starting role. Guimaraes fits that profile perfectly, having established himself as one of Newcastle's most influential players and one of the leaders within Eddie Howe's squad. However, convincing Newcastle to sell remains an enormous challenge. The Magpies continue to view Guimaraes as a central figure in their long-term project, both on and off the pitch. Since arriving from Lyon, he has become a fan favorite thanks to his consistency, commitment, and ability to perform in high-pressure matches. His leadership eventually earned him the captain's armband, further underlining his importance to the club. Financially, Newcastle are also under far less pressure to sell than they were in previous transfer windows. With greater stability and ambitious plans for the future, the club can afford to reject offers that fall below their valuation, especially for one of their most valuable assets. That reality explains why Arsenal are simultaneously exploring alternative options. Alex Scott, Sandro Tonali, Mateus Fernandes, and Aya Bouadi each offer different qualities, giving sporting director Andrea Berta and Arsenal's recruitment department multiple pathways if negotiations for Guimaraes prove impossible. Scott represents one of England's brightest young midfield talents, while Bouadi is regarded by many scouts as one of Europe's most exciting teenage prospects. Fernandes, meanwhile, has continued to develop into a technically gifted midfielder capable of operating in several different roles, making him another intriguing option for the Gunners. Even so, there remains a noticeable difference between those players and Guimaraes. The Brazilian has already demonstrated that he can consistently excel in the Premier League against the league's strongest opponents. That experience significantly reduces the risk associated with a major transfer, something Arsenal must carefully consider as they look to maintain their place among England's elite clubs. Supporters have understandably grown excited by the possibility of seeing Guimaraes wearing an Arsenal shirt. His energetic style, aggressive pressing, and composure in possession appear well suited to Arteta's tactical philosophy, and many believe he could form one of the strongest midfield partnerships in English football alongside the club's current core. Still, much will depend on Newcastle's willingness to negotiate. Unless their position softens, Arsenal may eventually have to decide whether to submit an improved offer or fully commit to alternative targets before the transfer window enters its final stages. For now, one thing is clear: strengthening the midfield remains one of Arsenal's highest priorities. Whether that pursuit ultimately ends with Bruno Guimaraes arriving at the Emirates Stadium or another name emerging as the club's next major signing, the decisions made over the coming weeks could play a defining role in Arsenal's attempt to build on last season's success and establish themselves as one of Europe's dominant forces once again.